Hello everyone, how you going? And welcome to the one-eyed scout who liberated a whole town by himself. Now that just sounds completely ridiculous, and I certainly understand why it's such a requested video, so here we go. I just can't wait to find out.
Leo Major, the one-eyed scout who liberated a whole town by himself.
Ridiculous.
World War II.
Okay.
In World War II, for the Canadian effort, one soldier stands out from all the rest. Leo Major. He was a French-Canadian from Montreal, Canada. In 1940, at the age of 19, he joined the Régiment de la Chaudière of the Canadian Army.
Okay.
Their insignia underlines their fierce fighting reputation, consisting of two crossed Vickers machine guns with a beaver above, supporting fleur-de-lis.
Now I want to take a second to look at this a little bit more in detail. Now he said there were particular machine guns, and I can definitely see that. Even though it is quite blocky, I can get what they're aiming for, so to say. I mean, I definitely don't know what the Latin down below is, and so hopefully someone can be a little bit of a translator in that regard. But no, overall I can certainly dig it.
With a beaver above.
Yeah, and then so it was a beaver. I just wanted to double check because I don't know, maybe there's some random animal that kind of looks like a beaver but isn't a beaver. Either way, it's certainly an imposing insignia.
Private Leo Major first saw action at D-Day in France, taking part in the Normandy landings on June 6, 1944.
Wow.
Straight away, he distinguished himself as a scout behind enemy lines by capturing a German communications half-track full of secret code books. He then forced the captured crew to drive the Hanomag towards friendly lines, but was fired upon with anti-tank guns by British and Canadian troops. Leo had to climb on top of the vehicle to get them to stop firing as they drove closer.
Oh, hang on a second. When they said, what, friendly
Hanomag
lines?
towards friendly lines.
Yeah, towards friendly lines. I was thinking that it was going to be the other way around. So he was trying to get behind the lines of the enemy, but no, he was trying to drive the tank and the soldiers in it. Somehow he captured an entire tank. I don't know how that really works. This honestly sounds like some video game thing just from the get-go. But either way, you would certainly be going, well, I understand why you're shooting, but please just stop shooting at me because I'm trying to bring this thing back to you, if nothing else.
Leo had to climb on top of the vehicle to get them to stop firing as they drove closer, and later remarked how happy he was that the British and Canadian soldiers didn't know how to shoot.
What? I mean, that's quite a backhanded comment. I mean, I'm sure that he's very glad about the entire fact, because if one tank round, whatever, no, what was it, anti-tank round would have hit him, I certainly don't feel as though it would have been a great day, even though he just had a great day up to that point. But either way, the fact that he's just going, oh, thank goodness they're just like stormtroopers, basically.
When the English officer asked Leo to hand over the Hanomag, Leo refused outright, stating that it was a Quebec man who captured it, and so it was handed over to the Chaudière Regiment.
Fair enough.
His war was nearly cut short when a few days later he was scouting ahead of his unit. Leo unexpectedly encountered a patrolling elite Waffen-SS unit. In the ensuing firefight, he managed to kill 4 of the enemy soldiers, but one of them, fatally wounded, managed to throw a phosphorus grenade, and Leo was hit, damaging his left eye badly.
Oh, okay, so there we go. I guess that's the first start of the entire thing in terms of the one-eyed scout. But no, a phosphorus grenade, and he managed to, I guess, kill 4 of the elite squad? Honestly, I kind of knew, judging by the title, what I was going to be getting into in terms of the one-eyed scout who liberated an entire town by himself. That just sounds like some novel, movie, video game kind of thing, just right off the get-go. But I didn't expect to have all this kind of pre-existing history within the entire thing. It wasn't like just a one-off event. This guy just seems to be an absolute crazy machine. From the fact that he managed to take on, what did he call? I won't be able to pronounce it.
Leo unexpectedly encountered a patrolling elite Waffen-SS unit.
An elite Waffen-SS unit. I mean, like I said, I won't be able to pronounce it very well, but no, either way, he managed to just take down all 4 of them and only lose his eye. I mean, it is an eye, and so it's not the greatest thing to lose. You would rather lose, I don't know, a pinky finger or something, but either way, you could have lost everything, and you managed to take out 4 of them.
Leo was then sent to a field hospital for treatment. Leo had to wear an eye patch while his eye healed, and he remarked on how he looked like a pirate. Remarkably, he refused to be sent home, stating that he only needed 1 good eye to aim a rifle. I
mean, I guess based on what he just did, you kind of be going, well, maybe you just go to 2-to-1 ratio instead of a 4-to-1, but hey, I guess that's your call.
Quickly, he returned to the front line and continued to act as a scout and sniper for his unit.
This guy's insane.
Shortly after returning to active service in October 1944, he was involved in the month-long Battle of the Scheldt in Holland, which involved much heavy fighting and several amphibious landings.
Of course he was. Like, is there anything that this guy didn't do? Because honestly, we're only 2 minutes into this 11-minute video, and he's already just traveling around the world, taking out every single special forces and obviously winning because he has to get at least to the town. I mean, in saying that, I certainly hope that the entire freeing of the town didn't cost him his life, because that would be one hell of a way to dampen the entire celebrations. But either way, I guess I just got to continue to see how crazy this guy can get.
One day during this prolonged battle, Leo's commanding officer had ordered him to find the 50 zombies who had gone missing on patrol earlier. Leo's commanding officer had ordered him to find the 50 zombies who had gone missing on patrol earlier. Zombie was a slang term used by Canadian volunteers for unenthusiastic, inexperienced Canadian conscripts in the war.
Right.
Leo was carrying
50. How was that 50?
50 zombies.
Yeah, 50 bloody guys just went missing.
Inexperienced Canadian conscripts in the war. Leo was carrying out the reconnaissance by himself, as always wearing PT sneakers instead of heavy boots. He was deep behind enemy lines in the dark, in freezing cold rain, muttering to himself, "I am frozen and wet because of you, so you will pay." Drenched to the skin while not finding the zombies, he did come across a garrison of German regular troops, sleeping in trenches that they had been digging all day.
I mean, fair enough. I would certainly be trying to get as much sleep as possible if I'd been digging in the mud, in the rain all day. I mean, this guy's just, like I said, he's a machine. He doesn't even count. He's like some John Wick kind of, he's a man of pure will. But these guys, I certainly don't blame them. But is he just going to kind of line them up? He's already a sniper as well, so he's a rifleman and a sniperman. Honestly, at this rate, I wouldn't put it past him to be able to just operate every single international vehicle, regardless of the fact that he's not on the German side or anything. He can just hop in and go, yep, I know what I'm doing, and just drive away.
Across a garrison of German regular troops, sleeping in trenches that they had been digging all day.
Poor fellas.
Noticing a snoring German officer, Leo woke him up, pointing his Sten gun at him, and then motioned him to order his men to follow him.
Wow.
One soldier raised his rifle and was shot dead by Leo, followed by 3 others who joined the firefight. After this, he shouted, "Achtung!" and "Handen hoch!" and the garrison quickly decided to surrender to him.
Wait, hang on a second. Just how many? I thought they said like 50. Surely you can't just control 50 guys.
And Handen hoch! And the garrison quickly decided to surrender to him. He then single-handedly marched 93 German soldiers back to the Allied lines. But
Wait, I was completely off. I thought it was going to be like 20. I thought I was over-exaggerating when I said 50, but 93. How the hell do you get to control 93 people? Literally 3 guys kind of lost their lives. They kind of just went, no, this isn't happening, and just completely wiped them out. But at the same time, how do you control 93 soldiers? I don't understand. How do you get rid of all their guns one at a time, and how do you keep them all in your sight? I feel as though if you had a line of 100 people, you would struggle to keep 100 people in sight, and so I don't even know what this guy's doing. He's got 4 arms, 6 eyes, and I mean, actually, he doesn't have, he's only got 1 eye at this point.
He then single-handedly marched 93 German soldiers back to the Allied lines.
What?
But on the way there, they were attacked by Waffen-SS troops manning an artillery battery from a neighboring village, who were infuriated that their fellow countrymen were surrendering.
Oh, right.
This left a lasting impression on Leo. The Waffen-SS unit managed to kill and injure a number of the German prisoners before being driven off by an Allied Sherman tank.
Jeez.
Leo then handed over 93 German prisoners to his speechless commander.
Wait, hang on a second. Is he saying that none of them actually got caught in the crossfires, so they still had 93 by the time they were done, even though they got ambushed? And it certainly doesn't seem as though there are many people down there along the bottom of the screen that managed to survive.
The Waffen-SS unit managed to kill and injure a number of the German prisoners.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. And so maybe the 93 was kind of the total number, and they didn't get the official number from before the entire thing kind of kicked off. But either way, the fact that it was, well, I guess that means there was over 100 probably, and then they just got into this entire firefight, and then it ended up still being 93. Crazy.
Leo then handed over 93 German prisoners to his speechless commander. For his act of bravery, Leo was awarded the Distinguished Conduct Medal, which is the 2nd highest award in the British and Commonwealth.
Wow.
The Victoria Cross being the only one higher.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, he declined the medal, feeling the British commander, General Montgomery, who was going to present him with the award, was incompetent and therefore in no position to give him that medal.
What? Surely, come on. You can't be that full of yourself where you can't just go, okay, I guess I'll take your medal, thanks. Even if you just don't care about it, surely you just kind of recognize the entire way that things work. It's like, we would like to just say thank you for doing this. This is all we can really do. And you go, okay, I didn't really want this present, but thanks, I guess. Not that you just reject the entire thing.
Then in February 1945, as his unit was fighting in the Rhineland in Germany, the Bren gun carrier he was traveling in hit a mine, wrecking the vehicle and killing all its occupants, except Leo.
Oh, of course it did. Honestly, what is this guy? I mean, is he about to lose his 2nd eye and then grow it back by the time he gets to the town? What is going on? How does every single other person lose their life? And he's like, nah, it was only a flesh wound.
He was traveling in, hit a mine, wrecking the vehicle and killing all its occupants, except Leo. He was severely injured, including 2 badly broken ankles, 4 ribs, and his back in 3 places.
Ooh, okay
Leo,
then. I mean, he certainly didn't get off unscathed. But either way, like you said, everyone else died and he managed to survive. And so was he up the front and it kind of went up under the back? Or was he at the back and it went up under the front? I have no idea. I'm just completely speechless about this guy.
Again refused to be shipped back home, and after a short spell in a Belgian hospital, he returned to his unit in time for their final attack to clear Holland of the last of its German occupiers.
Really? Okay then, mate.
So, on April 13, 1945, the Allies were preparing to attack the large Dutch town of Zwolle, but were unsure of the strength or deployment of the German forces in the town.
You don't need to worry. You just send Leo in, he's invincible, he'll capture like every single person, and even if they somehow get caught in the crossfire between the other allied forces, then you'll be fine. You just kind of go outside the tank and just go, no, just stop doing that, and then walk out with all of them.
That evening, Leo and his friend Corporal Willie Arsenault volunteered to carry out a recon of the area. The city was planned to be bombed by Allied artillery, and this is something Leo and Willie wanted to prevent.
Oh, okay.
When the two approached the outskirts of the silent town, the Germans spotted Willie after his grenade bag made a rattling noise, and he was killed by enemy machine gun fire.
What?
Leo took 2 of them out, but the others fled in a vehicle. He then took his friend's Sten gun, an extra bag of grenades, then laid his lifeless body on the side.
Oh.
So enraged was Leo that he would go on a one-man rampage that lasted the whole night, using his submachine gun and bags full of grenades. He hijacked a nearby German scout car, disarming the driver and taking his MP40.
That's the easiest thing he did all day. Honestly, he's just about to liberate an entire town, I can only imagine, and he just lost his friend, who somehow, once again, he was just completely unharmed, and everyone else around him just is dying. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't want to be around this guy. He's obviously just got some plot armor or something going on there, and so I just don't want to be around him because I'm just going to be the one that has to take the bullet literally for him.
Adding a 3rd submachine gun to his inventory,
Of course.
Leo made him drive to a hotel, then entered a bar. There, he disarmed a German officer who could speak French to Leo, and he made him aware that the town was to be bombed by Canadian artillery, which would result in German military and civilian casualties. The officer understood, and in good faith, Leo handed him back his pistol, allowing him to drive off in the hopes that he would evacuate his troops rather than rally an attack.
Wow.
Leo moved around the town for a few hours in the dead of night, firing on any German units he came up against, throwing grenades and making as much noise around town as possible.
Yeah.
His idea was to confuse the enemy into believing that they were under attack by a far larger Allied force storming the city.
Oh my
He
God.
proceeded in killing or capturing German defenders as he moved from street to street, using the local river and church as reference points. So
Hang on a second. No. I know he's just completely going on a rampage here, but I just want to know, how do you both simultaneously be attacking people and also capturing people? Like, it's not like everyone's forming a conga line behind you and you're like, okay, everyone, let's go down here. Let me just kind of take out all your friends. And if they don't join the conga line, well, we know what's going to happen to them. And even just the fact that he's supposedly trying to not be a one-man band in terms of the perception, but he still is just one person. So how do you get the kind of perception that everyone is all over the place? You're getting attacked by an entire unit or more? I don't even know. Honestly, I don't know where this guy got his crazy ideas from. Maybe he just thought he was invincible, considering nothing up until then or up until now, or I don't even know when, was able to kill him. He just went, yeah, you know what, just stuff it. I'm just going to see how far I can push this thing. I'm going to pretend to be the entire battalion, the entire military, and I'm just going to go do it myself. I've got my grenades, I've got 3 submachine guns, and I'm good to go.
he proceeded in killing or capturing German defenders as he moved from street to street, using the local river and church as reference points so as not to get lost.
Crazy.
Every time he had enough prisoners, normally between 8 to 10, he would march them back to the Allied lines and drop them off, before returning to the town to carry on his one-man assault. He's
Where was
reckoned to have
everyone else though during this entire thing? Where is everyone else? Are they literally just like playing tennis, watching this guy go back and forth between the town and the Adelaide line? Like he's just kind of like, yeah, okay, that's another 8, that's another 10, that's another 12. Like, what is going on? I don't understand. How do you just keep going back in, whether your entire purpose is to try and save the town in terms of it was going to be bombed and there was going to be other casualties, and then he's just going in there just guns a blazing? I mean, I feel as though I might be missing a few things there, but the fact that he sent the German commander or whatever it was on his way to go and try and get his troops out of there because it was going to be bombed just seems very kind of counterproductive when they then just go and capture them all.
Every time he had enough prisoners, normally between 8 to 10, he would march them back to the Allied lines and drop them off, before returning to the town to carry on his one-man assault. He is reckoned to have done this around 10 times.
Of course
4
he did.
times in the night he had to force his way into civilian houses to rest. Although terrified by his initial appearance once they understood he was Canadian, they looked after Leo.
To rest? Oh, wait, so he was actually under attack or just wanted to sleep? I mean, I guess actually he probably wouldn't have been sleeping. He would have been just completely out of his mind in terms of just awake and never able to sleep. But honestly, this is just more and more and more of a movie. The fact that he's just kind of busting down doors like, oh, no, I'm just going to pass out now, and then just wake up half an hour later or just go back out there half an hour later. It's honestly like it's just a game to him.
During his rampage, he also attacked and set light to the Gestapo headquarters, further adding to the confusion.
Wow.
Then, finding the SS headquarters, he engaged in a firefight, killing 4 SS officers inside. Then, later,
What is
Leo came
going
across a
on?
group of townsmen by chance. This included a local policeman by the name of Frick Kuiper. All of these men were secretly members of the Dutch resistance.
Oh.
Leo then explained to them that the town was liberated. Then the group went on to take the town hall and bring the civilians out onto the streets. By 4:30 a.m., the German garrison had fled the town, and Leo had single-handedly liberated Zwolle.
Oh my god.
Leo retrieved his friend Willie Arsenault's body and returned to his unit, who had yet to advance into the town. On that morning of April 14th, the Allied forces entered the town without a shot being fired and without the loss of civilian life from the planned bombardment. due to Leo's outstanding bravery the previous night.
No. It's not outstanding bravery. It's just complete. I don't even know what to call it, but it's completely crazy is what it is. I mean, it's completely crazy the fact that he was even able to do it. It's completely crazy that he had the idea that he even would go out and try and attempt to do it, or even just the fact that he was able to pull it off in the first place.
For his heroism above and beyond the call of duty, he was again awarded the Distinguished Conduct Medal, and this time he accepted it.
Oh, thank goodness. I mean, to be honest, I don't know why he wasn't given the Victoria Cross, because what do you have to do to get the Victoria Cross if he, even though he rejected the last one, what do you have to do to get the Victoria Cross if that wasn't enough? I mean, maybe you have to kind of step up, and so you have to have 2 heroic acts, but I'm fairly sure that's not how it works.
After the war, Leo left the army and returned to civilian life to resume his old job as a pipe fitter.
How? How do you do that?
With the start of the Korean War in 1950, the Canadian Army joined the United Nations forces in fighting the Communist Chinese and North Korean invasion of South Korea. Leo, though only 29 years old, was seen as a veteran with a special skill set and was recruited to rejoin the army and become a member of a special scout and sniper team.
Yeah, funny that. And he's only 29. I mean, I guess they're going to be all in their kind of prime zone. They're 25, so that makes sense. But either way, he was only 25, and I can only assume that he wouldn't have had that much experience under your belt. Generally, if you have too much experience, generally that's where it stops.
Then in November 1951, the communists attempted to take some strategic important high ground just 40 miles away from Seoul, the South Korean capital.
Not only as what?
The fighting was based around the vitally important Hill 355, nicknamed Little Gibraltar, and Hill 277. Chinese troops had captured it from the Americans, and Leo was to recapture and hold the hill.
No worries.
The fighting raged for days, and the Canadian commander, Lieutenant Colonel Jacques Dextraz, declared, "In the event the battalion is attacked, there will be no withdrawal, no platoons overrun, and no panics."
Wow, that is certainly a hell of a statement, but to be honest, I feel as though with Leo, you're just kind of giving him, or attempting to give him a challenge, because he goes, sure, no worries, that's like the least I could have done.
During the battle, Leo commanded a unit of around 18 men, repelling whole Chinese divisions while enduring heavy artillery and mortar barrages for 3 days. Even though Leo had been ordered to retreat when the Chinese divisions counterattacked, he refused. Instead, he demanded that the commander of the mortar platoon, Captain Charlie Forbes, rain mortar fire on the enemy. The mortar fire was so close to Leo's position that the commander could hear the bombs explode when Leo spoke on his radio. And it was so intense that the mortar barrels warped from their rate of fire.
Holy moly, I mean, I don't exactly know how thick they are, but I can only imagine they're probably like 12 to 14 mil at least thick, and so to be heating up steel to that degree just by firing an artillery out of it, that's just insane, because they're warping like that. I mean, to be honest, I guess that's probably not the best thing, because all of a sudden your shot's going to be deviating all over the place, but like the fact that he went on for 3 days like this, that's just ridiculous. This guy is... I don't even know what he is anymore.
For his valor and leadership under fire, Leo was awarded another Distinguished Conduct Medal for capturing and holding the Key Hill. Leo was the only Canadian to win the Distinguished Conduct Medal in 2 separate wars. He lived a quiet life afterwards, and in 2008, at the age of 87, passed away, having been married for 57 years and having 4 children.
Damn. Hell of a guy. Look at that. I want to take it back.
Leo was the only Canadian to win the Distinguished Conduct Medal in 2 separate wars.
I wonder if he still is. I mean, I guess considering this is a new video, he would still hold that honor or hold that record, but man, I feel as though you kind of don't want to hold that record in a way. I mean, it's great to be serving your country if that's what you want to do, and it's great to be really good at your job, but I feel like to a point there are certain things that he had to do to get that most people should not be doing. And also, furthermore to my point, just still, what do you have to do to get the Victoria Cross? Because this guy has like liberated, I don't know, half the world by this point. He's been through more conflicts and just general things throughout his life than any video game campaign player has ever had to deal with, let alone the fact that he did it with no respawns, obviously. And then even at the end here, he's like, oh, he lived a quiet life. I don't even know if you can even count it as a quiet life. Like, what is a quiet life to this guy? Just, oh yeah, you know, we just went over to Africa and then we went over to Europe and we just kind of liberated all these different places. That's a quiet day. Well then, I guess that is going to be the end of the video, but no, that was ridiculous. I'm so glad that everyone just recommended that, because I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I feel as I just want to kind of take it back, and like this entire thing, I thought it was going to end there, but no, he just kept going all night. It was ridiculous. And then his friend just kind of was the turning point. Honestly, he kind of is John Wick, if I'm honest. And even though, like I said, I was kind of ready for something given what people have said in the comments, and even just reading the title, The One-Eyed Scout Who Liberated a Whole Town by Himself, you certainly know what's kind of going to be going down there, but just I was not ready for everything else he did. Like I said, I was expecting it to be one kind of heroic act, not, I don't know, 5 over 10 years, and then 2 wars as well. Like, there's so many things going on in this guy's life that I'm glad, like I said at the end, just good on him. He just deserves to be living a quiet life, because that is just an insane story. Well, here we go. I just had to go out and get a real photo because I just wanted to know what he looked like. Obviously, we have this guy here, but the fact that he said he was 29 when he went to Korea, that I was a little bit confused there, because that guy looks like he's 50. And really, once I just look at this photo, I go, yeah, he looks way younger and actually just more along the ages that he should have been compared to the animation. But no, absolutely just incredible human being in terms of multiple ways. I mean, it's a devastating kind of impact. I can only imagine it would have been on his mental health and everything. But either way, there is certainly no denying that that is one hell of a story, and I'm glad that it's just been passed down, because that could so easily just get brushed under the carpet, but everyone now knows, including me. But anyway, in saying that, I reckon I'm going to call it there. So thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, feel free to do the YouTube algorithmic things down below. Also, if this is the first video of mine they're watching, then maybe you want to check out just any of the other videos I've done, including the Heritage Minutes where I first discovered this guy, and also make sure to check out the original video in the description down below, because you just have to check it out for yourself if I've cut anything out or I don't even know what, or hey, maybe even just want to consider subscribing so that you don't miss another one of these in the future. But all in all, have a good one and see ya.